Have you ever wondered in the midst of the glitz of Hollywood, where love burns brightly and then dies out overnight? Is there anyone who is determined enough to not walk down the aisle for their entire lives? They are the stars you have seen on screen, witnessed them playing romantic roles, heard them sing love songs that make millions of hearts flutter. They have loved deeply, got engaged, some have children but married. Never are they afraid of commitment or because they have found happiness in their own way, a happiness that does not need a wedding ring to prove it. In today's video, we will explore together 10 Hollywood stars who have never been married, not only to know who they are, but also to understand the real reason behind their decision to go against a Hollywood that is always noisy with lavish weddings. And who knows, after watching, you might have a different perspective on happiness, freedom, and even your own life. Winona Ryder marriage is not a priority. Winona Ryder, the actress, who captivated millions of viewers with classic roles such as Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, and Stranger Things, is not only famous for her acting talent, but also for her complicated love life and profound personal choices. Throughout her career, Winona has had many notable relationships, including her engagement to Johnny Depp in the late 80s, a love story that was covered in a lot of newspaper headlines. After that, she also dated Matt Damon, one of the most promising actors in Hollywood. However, what is special is that Winona has never been married. When asked about the reasons, she frankly shared, "I would rather not get married than go through a few divorces. Fear of getting hurt, failure in marriage, and painful memories from previous relationships have made Winona choose not to prioritize marriage. She wants to avoid unnecessary hurt, wants to protect herself and the people she loves from possible emotional storms." Winona once said that for her, love does not necessarily have to be tied to a wedding or a ring. She believes in sincerity, respect, and freedom in love, things that are more important than any legal documents. Through Winona Ryder's story, we see a very ordinary, very human perspective of an experienced woman who chooses to love in her own way, not being influenced by social pressure. Would Ricky Gervais, 40 years of love without a wedding vow. In the glamorous and turbulent entertainment industry, where love often lasts only as long as the stage lights, Ricky Gervais is proof of a lasting relationship that transcends time. No wedding ring, no wedding aisle. The famous British comedian Ricky Gervais, the father of the hit comedy series The Office, has been with writer Jane Fallon for more than 4 decades. They met in 1982 when they were both studying at University College London. Since then, their love has grown quietly, no need for a public ceremony, nor a wedding to legalize. "We don't get married because we don't believe in it. We don't need a piece of paper to prove our love," Ricky once shared in an interview. Not only did they not get married, the couple also agreed not to have children. Instead, they choose to live freely, spending time with each other, their creative careers, and the values they believe in. Ricky and Jane's love is not ostentatious, not noisy, but durable and deep. They always support each other in their careers. Ricky is a screenwriter, director, comedian, and producer. Jane is a best-selling novelist with many famous works in the UK. In an era where Hollywood love stories can fall apart, after just a few months, Ricky Gervais' unmarried love story is admired by many people. It is a reminder that sometimes the most sacred thing in love does not come from vows, but from understanding, respect, and going through the years together. Al Pacino, the silver screen legend, never married. Al Pacino, the name has become a part of the history of world cinema. People still remember his cold eyes in The Godfather, the explosive anger in Scarface, and the memorable roles portraying lonely but strong men. That brilliant career has brought Al Pacino countless awards, from Oscar, BAFTA to Golden Globe, and the admiration of millions of global audiences. But between the spotlight and the applause, Al Pacino has a very different private life. He has never been married. Throughout his life, Al Pacino has dated many famous Hollywood beauties, from Diane Keaton, his co-star in The Godfather, Beverly D'Angelo, the mother of his twin children, to short but deep relationships with much younger actresses. And despite having 3 children, Al Pacino has never walked down the aisle. People once asked him, "Why don't you get married?" He simply replied, "I'm not against marriage. I just haven't met the right person at the right time." That's not an evasion, but a straightforward truth. Because for Al Pacino, marriage is not an obligation or a milestone that must be achieved. He once shared that he loves freedom, loves the feeling of being true to himself, and his happiness is not defined by a lavish ceremony or a marriage certificate. However, Al Pacino is not a lonely man. He is a devoted father spending a lot of time with his children and always making sure they are loved, even though he and their mother are not together. Many people once said that his acting career has become Al Pacino's biggest lover. He once said that playing different roles and experiencing life through each character was the way for him to understand himself and life better. And perhaps among those memorable roles, he found his own happiness. Charlize Theron. You don't need to get married to feel fulfilled. Charlize Theron, the South African Rose, once amazed the film world with her brilliant performance in Monster, winning her the prestigious Oscar. But off the screen, Charlize is not only a famous star, she is also a role model of an independent, strong, and self-reliant woman in life. Charlize once had a love affair that attracted the attention of Hollywood when she got engaged to actor Sean Penn in 2014. They appeared on the red carpet together, attended major events together, and many people believed that a fairy tale wedding would soon take place. But just a year later, Charlize decided to call off the engagement and end the relationship. When asked about this decision, Charlize answered frankly, "I never dreamed of a wedding. For her, marriage is not a goal, not a measure of a woman's worth." She once shared that since she was a child, she did not feel that marriage was necessary for her to be happy. Charlize Theron chose to become a single mother, adopted two lovely children, Jackson and August, and devoted all her love to her children. She is both a talented actress and a devoted mother, willing to pause film projects to take care of and accompany her children in the most important years. Although Hollywood is always full of prejudices that beautiful, successful women need a perfect marriage to complete their lives, Charlize Theron has proven the opposite. She is still radiant on the red carpet, still strong on set, still gentle with her children, and still lives a full, complete life without needing a wedding ceremony to prove her worth. She once said, "I never feel like my life is lacking anything, just because I'm not married." That's how Charlize Theron defines happiness. Freedom to choose, freedom to love. Freedom to live true to your values and not let any social stereotypes bind you. Sheryl Crow, freedom is more important than a wedding dress. Sheryl Crow, the talented singer behind immortal hits like "If It Makes You Happy" or "All I Want to Do," not only makes the audience admire her distinctive voice and brilliant music career, but also her independent and courageous choice of life off stage. Having had a tumultuous love affair with cycling legend Lance Armstrong, Sheryl even got engaged and seemed to be entering a perfect family life in the traditional sense. However, just a few months after announcing their engagement in 2005, the two suddenly announced their separation. No wedding, no ceremony, and no regrets. After that incident, Sheryl chose a different path, being a single mother. She adopted two sons, Wyatt and Levi, and built a simple but loving home with her own hands. In the public eye, this was not an easy decision, but for Sheryl, it was true freedom. "I don't need to get married to feel complete. I need peace, my children, and music," she once shared in an interview. Sheryl lives on a peaceful farm in Tennessee, away from the spotlight when not touring, taking care of her children, writing music, and enjoying every simple and happy moment. She has become a model of a modern woman, not following the mold, not bound by prejudice, and daring to choose her own path. In the scandalous world of showbiz, Sheryl Crow chose for herself a different definition of happiness. No wedding dress, no diamond ring. But there is music, children's, laughter, and the freedom she has always longed for. Marisa Tomei. I don't need a husband to be a happy woman. As one of the most talented and charming faces in Hollywood, Marisa Tomei has captivated audiences through her profound roles in My Cousin Vinny, the wrestler, and Spider-Man. But behind the spotlight of her career, she is one of the few female stars who chooses to live a single life. No husband, no children, and is completely comfortable with that. Marissa has dated many famous co-stars such as Robert Downey Jr., Logan Marshall Green, and Josh Radnor, but has never walked down the aisle. For her, marriage has never been a goal to achieve. "I'm not against marriage, but I don't think it's an important part of my life," Marissa frankly shared. In a world where famous women are often put under the microscope from their careers, their bodies to their love lives, Marisa Tomei calmly chooses her own path, not bound by social stereotypes about the ideal woman she lives, by her own personal standards, free, independent, and happy in her own way. She focuses all her energy on acting carefully, selecting roles, not chasing after temporary fame, but always prioritizing the depth of the character. At the same time, Marisa maintains a private lifestyle, avoiding gossip and enjoying the simple values of everyday life. At the age of over 50, Marisa Tomei is still charming, intelligent, talented, and above all free. Without the title of someone's wife, she is the embodiment of a modern woman living true to herself, being happy without needing anyone to define it for her. Leonardo DiCaprio, the forever single gentleman. When mentioning Leonardo DiCaprio, people immediately remember his deep blue eyes, charming smile, and a series of memorable roles from Titanic Inception to The Revenant. He is one of the most successful actors in Hollywood, but there is one thing that makes Leo different from many of his colleagues at the age of 50. He has never walked down the aisle. Let's look back at Leo's love life, a journey full of anecdotes that the Hollywood press has followed closely for decades. From Gisele Bündchen, the most famous supermodel of the 2000s, to Bar Raffaelli, Blake Lively, Tony Garn, Camilla Morone. All are beautiful women walking with Leo at the most prestigious events in the world. And then, as an unwritten rule, when they turn 25, those relationships quietly end. No wedding, no engagement ring, no promise of everlasting life. Only Leo quietly continuing his life as the most powerful bachelor in Hollywood. Many people have wondered, why is Leonardo DiCaprio not married? He once answered briefly, but meaningfully. Marriage is not a measure of my happiness. For Leo, happiness does not lie in a lavish ceremony, a diamond ring, or vows. His happiness is being immersed in challenging roles, in adventures across the oceans, in engaging in environmental protection and climate change activities. Few people know that outside the spotlight, Leonardo DiCaprio is a true environmental activist. He spends millions of dollars on animal protection, funds reforestation, and anti-shark fishing. When not filming, Leo can be found kayaking in Iceland, climbing mountains in Antarctica, or quietly collecting trash on beaches. He once shared that freedom is what he values most. Freedom to choose the movies he wants to make. Freedom to defend the values he believes in, and the freedom to live a life free from social stereotypes, including marriage. So if someone asks, will Leonardo DiCaprio stay single forever? The answer may be, maybe, but it may also be, never know. But regardless, Leo is still living a full life in his own way, a life that does not need marriage to affirm his value or happiness. When mentioning Oprah Winfrey, people not only mention one of the most powerful women in the world, but also a symbol of resilience, compassion, and the desire to rise from adversity. From a girl who grew up in poverty who was abused, Oprah overcame everything to become a self-made billionaire, the most powerful host in American television history, and an inspiration to millions of people around the world. But few people know that amidst the halo of power and fame, Oprah still chose a different path of love. She has never married. Oprah has been with Stedman Graham for more than 35 years, a rare lasting love in the turbulent entertainment industry. Together they have gone through the ups and downs of life, from the days when Oprah started building her media empire, to the times when she faced rumors, pressure, and losses in her life. Stedman proposed to Oprah in 1992, and she accepted. But the wedding never happened. When asked why she didn't get married, Oprah once answered with a straightforward but thoughtful sentence. If we got married, we would have divorced, because she understood herself well. Understood that traditional married life would not be suitable for her, with her busy work schedule, her desire to contribute, and her personality that did not want to be bound by any social stereotypes. For Oprah, love does not need to be framed in a marriage certificate or a lavish ceremony. Love to her is companionship, respect, growing together, and not being bound by names. And it is this way of loving that has helped her and Stedman maintain a lasting relationship for more than 3 decades. Something that not every couple in Hollywood can do, even those who are married. When asked if she regretted not getting married, Oprah smiled. No, we made the right choice. And perhaps Oprah's story has given us a different perspective on love, a love that does not need to be proven by marriage, but is still deep enough to last through the years, steadfast enough to go through all the storms together. John Cusack, romantic on film, single in real life. If you are a fan of romantic movies of the 80s and 90s, you certainly cannot forget the image of John Cusack holding the radio high and Say Anything, which became one of the most classic moments of American cinema. John Cusack was once the golden boy of romantic movies, playing passionate characters who were willing to do anything for love. But surprisingly, in real life, John Cusack has never been married. Throughout his career, John has dated many famous beauties, such as Brooke Burns, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Neve Campbell. But not once has he walked down the aisle. Many people have wondered why a romantic man like John Cusack, who has acted in dozens of movies about love, doesn't want to get married. He once answered gently but clearly, marriage is not mandatory. For John Cusack, love does not need to be bound by a marriage certificate. He once shared that he loves freedom, loves being able to focus on art, being able to immerse himself in his roles, scripts, and spontaneous trips without having to ask anyone's permission or fear of family responsibilities. Cusack also does not like being labeled or framed by social expectations. He believes that everyone's life is different, and happiness does not have a general formula for everyone. Not getting married does not mean being lonely. Not getting married does not mean being lacking, but simply it is a personal choice to live a life of freedom and true to one's values. And perhaps it is that choice that has helped John Cusack maintain his passion for cinema, for decades continue to contribute memorable roles, maintain privacy in a noisy Hollywood, and still live a life true to himself. Kylie Minogue, the pop princess who has never worn a wedding dress. Kylie Minogue, the golden girl of the world. Pop music industry, with a series of hit songs and influence, spanning many generations, is not only a musical icon, but also a model of resilience and freedom in love. Kylie's love life was once sought after by the media, especially when she publicly announced her relationship with Joshua Sassy, a young and promising actor. In 2016, Kylie and Joshua got engaged, making fans excitedly wait for a dream wedding of this powerful couple. However, at the last minute, the couple suddenly announced the cancellation of their engagement. The incident surprised many people and raised the question, why did Kylie, who is considered a symbol of perseverance, give up the opportunity to walk down the aisle? Kylie once shared in a sincere interview, "I'm not against marriage, but life is still beautiful, even if I don't get married. It is a free and mature perspective, showing a deep understanding of the true value of love in life." For Kylie, love does not need to be framed by a ceremony or a registration paper. What is more important is respect, commitment, and joy in every moment together. After breaking up with Joshua, Kylie continues to enjoy a free single life, focusing on her successful music career and meaningful humanitarian projects. She also said that although she is not married, she still feels complete and happy in her current life. Kylie Minogue's experiences show that in another aspect of Hollywood, marriage is not a must to define a successful and happy life. These 10 celebrities have proven that marriage is not the only path to happiness. They are still successful, happy, and living according to their own choices. What do you think about the idea of no need to get married to be happy? Do you have any favorite unmarried idols? Comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next interesting Hollywood stories. Interesting Hollywood stories.